Today I'm going to show you how to create a splash screen with a custom time delay in xCode7 using Swift and storyboards. So I've created a very simple demo app here, and if I go to the main storyboard, you can see it's just got two screens embedded in a nav controller. And if I look at the launch screen storyboard, I've just got a simple splash screen here. Now if I run the app as it is, in fact it's very hard to see the splash screen because there's no data, big data being loaded up, or the splash screen only displays for a very short while. And this is the problem we're trying to solve here, is to have a splash screen that displays for as long as we want it to, not just for as long as it takes for the data and objects to load up. So I'll run this again. If I click out there, now you'll be able to see that there's a splash, but it displays for too short a time. So how do we solve this? Okay, so if we go back to the launch screen storyboard and copy this, and paste it into the main storyboard, and just rearrange things slightly. Now we have to make the splash screen the initial view controller, so we do that by dragging this arrow across here, and we need to make a segue into the navigation controller. Control drag from the view controller and select show, and in the properties we set the identifier to something like this, and copy that. We'll need that in a minute. Now the next thing is to create a new subclass of a view controller. So new file, and we'll call this show splash screen. Back to the storyboard, we now need to set the splash screen here to that class, show splash screen. Now back to the class we just created, and we need to write a function that's going to show the nav controller. And in here we perform segue with identifier, which will be the name of the identifier we set in the storyboard, sender self. So in the view did load, we need to perform selector with delay to call that method, which we called show nav controller. And set our time delay here. We'll use 3 seconds for this example. And now just build and run. So there we have our splash screen displaying, and after 3 seconds we go into our app. Now if you didn't want the animation there we saw, you can go back to storyboard, to this segue, and set the property to not animate by unclicking there. And now after the splash screen, the first screen we want to see just pops up. That's it.